Welcome to What's in Your Leadership Backpack. Shannon Conrad here, exploring storytelling, and the power of story in the leadership context.
Yeah, and as Conrad and I have been talking about this and what it means for leaders to tell stories, what we've discovered is that a number of the tools that we've already shared with you through these videos can be used to help in shaping a story.
Yes, and we want to start with context. We have a video on context, and in this particular part around story, we want to focus in there. One piece of context that may be important: who's your audience? Is this a one-to-one conversation, a group? Another piece of context: what's the modality? Is it going to be verbalized? Maybe it's going to be a written story. Many modes of that. Those are two examples of how you would want to start with context.
Yeah. The next is stake, right? So first of all, leaders are always in service of something. So what we make up is that if you're a leader and you're telling a story, or it's like you're telling a story and you're a leader and you want to do it for the sake of something. You're in service of something. You're telling the story for the sake of something. So oftentimes parents and caregivers tell their kids a story for the sake of making sure that they stay safe or
Yeah.
that don't make a poor choice. That's being in service of something. So knowing what you're being in service of through this story, and then what is the stake? And we have a video on stake too, which is really helpful in making sure that you're constantly orienting yourself around that belief that you have. And this awareness that the story is important, that it's serving a purpose, as opposed to just being, what else? A story that you're just telling just because it might be a good story.
Right. What is the story for the sake of? Stake. Love just underlining this, Shannon. Orientation tethered to that stake. So you're always, you're always knowing what this is really about, and your audience does too. So context first, stake second. Number three, look at your impact. What is the impact you want to create from the story? And when we mean impact, it's really about that whole body experience. Your audience could be an audience of one or millions. What do you want them to experience, feel, sensationalize, imagine, dream? That's what we're talking about with impact. So getting really clear on the impact I want in this story is related to, and it can have multiple impacts, of course, but really, what's the core impact you want to create?
Yeah, oftentimes an example might be you want people to feel compelled.
Mm,
You want people to feel enrolled.
yep.
You want people to feel like they belong. Or maybe you want people to feel responsible.
Yes. Or you want them, all those, yes to all those. You may want them to be ready to move, dance, laugh, celebrate an experience. All those are welcome. So, number three, really getting clear on your impact.
And then the last one we want to talk about are outcomes. And these are a little bit more like tangible things, right? So what might you want the takeaway to be? What might you want the learning to be? What do you want? What's like the nugget that you want this story to offer and that you want people to walk away with?
Yeah, example of that, I was with a leader sharing their quarterly goals for the um, next quarter. And those were three goals that they really wanted the team to take away and be a part of achieving those. So the outcomes that you want can be a goal, it can be a lesson, a learning, some knowledge. All those are important to get really clear on outcome. Number four.
So those are the four things that we're going to share. There are lots of ways to, you know, fill in fill in the story, create the story, write the story, speak the story. But we wanted to pull those out of our backpack and share them with you so that you've got some support when you create the shape of
Mm.
the story so that it
Mm.
can be effective and impactful.
Be well, go create the shape of the story of you or whatever you're up to, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.